Hello and welcome to Celebrate, a series of free performing arts programs with the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum in Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Maria Quintero, and I am the Outreach and Programs Manager for the Department of Education and Public Programs. To open, I humbly start with a land acknowledgement to recognize the Indigenous tribes of the Pawtucket and Massachusetts peoples of the Wampanoag Tribal Confederation territories, who both past and present, and throughout many generations, have stewarded the land where the Kennedy Library is today. While a land acknowledgement is not enough, it is an important way for us to promote Indigenous visibility and it serves as a reminder that we are unsettled Indigenous land. I invite us all to contemplate how to better support Indigenous communities and to learn how to honor the land that each of us inhabits. We are so delighted that you are joining us for this virtual program from wherever it is that you might be. We want to thank our sponsors, AT&T, the Martin Richard Foundation, the Mass Cultural Council, and the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation. With their generous support, we're able to provide these programs free of charge to you. The Celebrate series highlights America's rich cultural diversity through the arts and is tied directly to President and Mrs. Kennedy's concern for and support of the arts and culture as important components of what makes up a democratic society. We're proud to continue promoting this legacy through the Celebrate program, and we invite you, your friends, and your family to learn and explore with us each month for the virtual programs this season. For today's program, we honor Black Heritage Month with Benkadi Drum and Dance. We invite everyone to sing along and try out some of the dance moves, which are inspired by traditional West African rhythms and movements. I also encourage you to take this opportunity to expand your own knowledge of the history and the many contributions of Black people to this country and to the world as part of Black Heritage Month. Marianne Harkless, the dance director from Benkadi Drum and Dance, is here with us, and she's going to guide us through some of the pre-recorded materials. We're delighted that Marianne is going to be joining us, and we want to invite you to please give us some feedback after viewing this program by clicking on the brief survey link in the video description. Now, let's get ready to celebrate with Benkadi Drum and Dance.
Welcome. The next dance you're going to see is called Kuku, and it's from Guinea in West Africa. Originally, this dance was done by women coming back from fishing. Now it's a popular dance that is done worldwide and is usually just a celebration for parties and other good times. So this song is call and response. So I will sing a phrase and then you repeat the phrase after me. Okay. Do-e, barima, do-e. Do-e, barima, do-e. Abafroba, amawa, dawa, do-e. Abafroba, amawa, dawa, do-e. Barima, do-e. Barima, do-e. Do-e, barima, do-e. Do-e, barima, do-e. Abafroba, amawa, dawa, do-e. Abafroba, amawa, dawa, do-e. Barima, do-e. Barima, do-e. Barima, do-e. Barima, do-e. Thank you.
Every year, we put together a folktale based on an African or African American story. The story that we are working with this year is from a book called In the Rainfield, Who's the Greatest? And the book is written by Isaac Olaleye. This is sort of our interpretation, our chance to put together the story with our own music, dance moves, and characters and staging. So please enjoy In the Rainforest, Who's the Greatest?
In the rainforests of Bantu Africa towered the mountain of clouds. From the mountain of clouds, the river of birds flowed into the land of the giant apes. There, in those rainforests, a very long time ago, wind, fire, and rain were not good friends at all. And it happened one day that they had an argument about who was the greatest. I am the greatest, whistled Wind, because I am the fastest of us three, and nobody can see me or catch me. Nobody. I am the greatest, fumed Fire, because I am the hottest thing on earth, and nobody can stand near me. Nobody. Rain said softly, the hottest and the fastest may not be the greatest. The greatest must be the gentlest. The three bickered back and forth and back, and since they could not agree, they decided to meet in 7 days to prove, once and for all, who really was the greatest. At last, the seventh day came. Wind was first to prove its greatness. Wind came with a breath. Leaves fluttered in the gentle breeze. Whistling, ooh, ooh, wind grew stronger and picked up speed. Leaves flew and trees bent. Wind grew stronger still into a howling windstorm. Birds fluttered, flip-flopped, and whimpered, "Piñe, piñe," hurrying back to their nests. Village children huffed and puffed, "Kia, kia, kata kiti," running from the wind. Wind gloried in its strength and became a ferocious gale. Fruit flew, branches snapped. Goats, sheep, dogs, and cats floated in the air. Meh! Bah! Whoa! Whoa! Meow! Meow! Wind! 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 Wild wind everywhere! Everybody prayed for wind to stop. Fire and Rain yelled, "Stop, wind! Your time is up!" With one last gust, shrilling wind stopped. Alas, people were left hanging high in branches when the bent trees straightened. It looked as if farmers, their wives, and their children grew on trees. Now fire stepped in and began to crackle. Petty, petty. Fire fumed with great fury. Soon a firestorm was eating everything in its way. Wahey! Wahey! Animals scrambled for their burrows. Gotta, gotta. And into streams and rivers. Wak, wak. People plunged into lakes and ponds. Yada, yada. African milkbush whined at the taste of fire. Kiss-me-quick plants whined at the taste of fire. Fire kissed flame of the forest tree, and the tree exploded into fountains of fire. Fire hopped over streams and lakes, and kept on in a mad rush, going in every direction. Fire! 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 Firepower everywhere! Everybody prayed for fire to stop. Wind and Rain yelled, "Stop, fire! Your time is up!" But fire fumed, "No, I am the hottest. The hottest is the greatest. The greatest shall not stop." Wind blew, whoo, whoo, trying to snuff out fire, but that made fire bigger and stronger. I cannot stop fire. Is fire the greatest? Wind wondered. And then the sky began to darken. Dim. Dimmer. Dimmest. Lightning snaked across the sky. Thunder rumbled and roared. Grr, grr. Kaboom! Kaboom! Fire crouched, quivering under the great cloud mass. And rain began to drip. Gentle even upon the lowly lily of the field, and steadily upon fire. Rain, 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 singing rain, winnie, 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 everywhere. I will stop, yelled fire. Too late, whistled wind. Too late, sang rain. A gentle shower had smothered fire. Fire was defeated. Fire hissed, shoo, rain is the greatest. And fire still makes a hissing noise whenever water is poured upon it. Humans and beasts broke forth in cheers for rain, and wind, which could not snuff out fire, exclaimed, "Rain is the greatest." To this day, wind goes around with rain, whistling, "Rain is the greatest. The gentlest is the greatest."
What a wonderful performance. I want to thank Benkadi Drum and Dance and all of the members of the group that put together this virtual show and that shared it with us so that we can honor Black Heritage Month. In addition to guiding us through the recorded performances, Marianne Harkless, the dance director, is here to help us answer some of the questions that have come in from our audience. Marianne, to start, we have a question from Francoise from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And Francois wants to know, what are the countries of origin and how did you discover your own inspiration and joy of drumming and dance?
Most of the dances that we do and most of the rhythms that we do are from Mali, Guinea, and sometimes Senegal. And we've even done a South African gumboot dance. But most of it is from West African countries. How did I discover it? I was invited, I took an African dance class, actually 2 African dance classes when I was a teenager. And shortly after that was invited to dance with the Art of Black Dance and Music here in the Cambridge area. That company taught me so much. We were required to do research. It was something we wanted to do, but we were also guided through research about the origins of the rhythms, different cultures in West Africa. And we learned to make costumes. We would get together and eat food, learn songs, make costumes. And it was just so engaging. What I loved most about it, I loved everything about it because I was just obsessed with dancing at the time, and still am, but like really obsessed back then. And what I loved about it was that African dance and drumming really brings people together. So you have this sense of family and community, and that was really what got me hooked.
We have another audience question related to something that you already started sharing with us, the costumes. They want to know, what cultures are some of these outfits that you wear for the dances from? And do any of the clothing items have specific names that they can learn?
Okay, so the first dance is that you saw, which was Cuckoo from Guinea, was actually, the costumes were made by a friend of a costume designer that our director, Sori Diabate, knows in Mali. So they were made there and designed by that costume maker and sent to us from Mali. They're not specific names, they're just dance costumes. And then the folktale costumes were a chance for us to get very creative. The rain costumes I made myself. The fire costumes I also made. And if you remember, that has these long grass skirts, which we call raffia skirts. And those I made with a technique that I learned back in the Art of Black Dance days, of how to tie them along the rope so that it creates a beautiful knot, like symmetrical knots, and a nice skirt. And then I painted them the red color. So there's kind of like a mix of the natural raffia and a red color. The wind costumes were made by one of the dancers in the company, Grace Kendeke, and she actually is a very fine seamstress, as is her mother, and they often help with costumes.
A question we have from a viewer is, what advice would you give any performer who wants to learn more about African percussions?
One of the most respected, incredible resources for West African percussion is Mamadi Keita, and the last name is spelled Keita. He's an internationally known djembe player, and he has a lot of he gives a lot of history. So if you just Google his name, you will find a lot of information. In terms of if you want to actually take classes and you happen to be in actually the classes are online right now. I was going to say, if you happen to be in the Boston area, our director, Sori Diabate, does teach drum classes, djembe and dundun, and he does that every Saturday, and those are currently on Zoom. He is an excellent master drummer from Bamako, Mali, who's now living here, and who was the founder and director of the company, Benkadi.
In addition to Benkadi's virtual classes, we also encourage you to check if there are any groups or artists in your local communities that also might do African drumming or African dance, and you can reach out to them and see if they might offer other opportunities for you to learn more. Marianne, you and your group carry on these traditions that have been passed down for many generations and within many communities. For any of our viewers who may not be as familiar with African dance and drumming, do you have advice about how they can remain respectful while learning and looking more into things that they may be curious about that to them might seem new or different?
Approach it with an open mind and try to actually be interested in everything that comes with the dance or the drumming, whatever you are interested in. So it's not enough to just learn the dances. If you want to learn the dances, find out where they're from, what ethnic groups, what regions, what purposes the dances are used for, or the rhythms are used for. And that's the best way to be respectful. So the culture cannot really be separated from the dances and rhythms, even though we do take them out of context and put them on the stage. They can't be separated.
As we saw in the video, and as you've mentioned, the drumming is a really, really important part of bringing the performance together. I know you brought with you one of the instruments that is used. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
This is the djembe drum, a djembe drum. And that's the one that was playing lead. So in the cuckoo dance, you probably noticed Sori, who was playing the lead. There were two djembe players in that video. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about this drum, about how it's made. This drum is made from a tree, from wood. They're usually made from wood, and this particular one is made from a tree called Dugora in Bambara, which is Sori's first language in Mali. I don't think that there is an English translation. He did not think that tree exists here. But he told me an interesting story about that tree. He said that the fruit of that tree, if you cut the fruit and you open it up and let it dry in the sun, you can eat it and it tastes exactly like meat, even though it's a vegetable or maybe technically a fruit. So I thought that was really interesting, and I don't think we have any tree like that here. I certainly don't know about it, but it's the drum. When the wood is carved out, you can see that it's carved hollow, and the shape itself is carved, and then on the top is a goat skin, and that what makes the different sounds, besides the drummer's technique, is that you can tune the drum with these ropes that attach the skin to the drum. So the tighter you pull it, the higher the sound will be on the drum.
It takes so much skill and collaboration between so very many different people to come together and work together to make this performance possible. And you have so many different parts, like the instruments and the costumes and the choreography. And I really want to thank you for taking us on this musical journey, so together with our viewers, we could learn more.
Thank you for having us again.
I want to thank Benkadi Drum and Dance for offering us a chance to deepen our learning and to really inspire us to continue to honor, to learn, and to support Black culture and history. And remember that while this month is a nice jumpstart, it's something you should do all year long. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to watch today's program. I encourage you to share this video with your friends and family, and I hope that you learned something new. Remember, you can rewatch this for the next couple of weeks. Please let us know what you think about today's program by clicking on the brief survey link in the video description. Please continue to join us every month for virtual Celebrate programs. Next month in March, our program will be in honor of St. Patrick's Day, which is tied directly to President and Mrs. Kennedy's own Irish heritage. We want to thank our sponsors, AT&T, the Martin Richard Foundation, the Mass Cultural Council, and the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation. Remember to always practice respectful curiosity as you learn new things, and we hope to see you again soon so you can come together and celebrate. Visit jfklibrary.org/celebrate to register for any future programs.